Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Virgo energy, and like usual we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Virgo energy, and the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Virgo energy, because we all have our dualistic nature of free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And high vibe Virgo would be about learning lessons in life, having hope and faith and belief in your dreams and love, and listening to our intuition to guide us. And there might be things we might want to do, but we could battle within ourselves because it requires us to make maybe some changes in our life, even if it's develop a new habit, get rid of an old habit. It might require us to change jobs or change kind of who we're hanging out with in our life. And so some people could be battling within themselves. Other people have already moved on in life a little differently, and when some people move on in life a little differently, some other people don't view life that way, and they might be living life the way they've been living it, and we all move forward in life at different times. So shadowy worldly Virgo energy can be people who are still just more caught up in themselves or things of the world, or focused on their career instead of love. Some, though, could be more materialistic and self-focused or indulgence-focused. So just listen to your intuition about where you might be in the story and where some other people might be in the story. So let's go look at the top row first. The reason for the top row's reading is the financial constraints, which I view as the Five of Pentacles card, which is also the reason why the reading came out. In High Vibe, the Five of Pentacles talks about, I did live my life a certain way, and something about it kind of felt like it made me feel left out in the cold. And so I did the work within myself in Virgo energy to figure out what it was. And then once I saw the truth, because the truth sets us free, then you move forward. You detach from an old way of living life or viewing life to move forward in life. And maybe it was just getting more balanced within yourself with the contract card there, having the scales of justice. The bottom row can represent how we're kind of tipped out of balance, where we could feel that something we're involved in isn't quite just and fair, that we were kind of indulging poor behavior in ourselves or in others, and we wanted to feel more balanced within ourselves and be in more balanced relationships. And when we're going to move forward in life differently with the deceit card, we have to face our fears about not repeating an old pattern, not to get back into bad habits or something. And we have to keep maintaining balance to overcome our own shadow nature that kind of wants us to go back and repeat an old pattern, because the bottom row can represent our comfort zone, and we all kind of like to stay in our comfort zone because then we don't have to maybe go through a period of feeling left out in the cold. We didn't have to detach from certain friends or jobs or habits. So we have to overcome our own shadow nature and put in this work and effort to really get to operating from our core foundation, is what the first chakra can be. I am going to let love and intuition and justice and fairness and character and integrity dictate the decisions I make in my life, instead of my fear and my insecurity and my pride and my ego. And it might involve some people that at a core foundational level you thought were going to be in your life all your life, or that you thought would be just and fair. And then we listen to our intuition in the Goddess of the Moon card. And we keep moving forward. And there might be people in your life that you had viewed as just and fair, but some of you could have been dealing with a Libra, or it can just be people in your life who you thought would be just and fair. But then there could have been something that happened in the deceit card that kind of made you wonder, are they on the same page as me? Are they trying to manipulate me or control me or don't want me to grow to my full potential? And so then we keep listening to our intuition. We keep moving forward, wishing other people peace and love and joy, hoping that they work through whatever they need to work through to keep moving forward with us. And as you're moving forward in your life, this could be you in this energy. We always have like our shadow nature and a high vibe nature that you're trying to balance. So kind of trying to balance your shadowy energy and your more hopeful, believing nature. And to listen to your intuition as you keep moving forward. Let's go take a quick look at what the deceit card could be about. And then as you move forward, there's different people in your life that you can spend more of your time with. Who are the people who you think don't want you to move forward, loving and believing in yourself and listening to your intuition and growing to your full potential? And who are the people who you think work through those things of their own to keep in the energy of love, to keep moving forward with you? We can all get into some fear and some insecurities and stuff like that we need to work through with people. But tell me about the deceit card, the Seven of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. So we all have a dream. The Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy. But in the Knight of Wands, in our more immature nature, we kind of want what we want. So there's a part of us that's, we have a dream. We want to move forward with a dream, but there's a part of us that wants to keep kind of living life the way we've been living it. And then we can have people in our life who want to be in a relationship with us. But in shadowy Seven of Swords, it can be people that are more, kind of a little more caught up in themselves or the things of the world. Keep indulging me. Let's be in a relationship. Let's move forward together. But let's create the illusion it's love and that it's just and it's fair, but it's really not. And so we kind of need to listen to our intuition about those people. Let's look, if the first chakra is kind of representing high vibe energy, let's take a look at that. The Ten of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the reason is because of the Knight of Swords. So the truth is, the Ten of Pentacles is Virgo energy. I want to be in foundations with people who are emotionally mature and tempered in their ego, where they're not trying to manipulate me or control me. They are loving and nurturing and supportive. And though there could be some people in our life that we wanted to have part of our life as we were moving forward, if those people we feel are being a little deceptive, kind of full of themselves, or immature, that we just don't feel they're as emotionally mature, maybe trying to confuse us about the truth, trying to confuse us about the truth. Our own shadow nature tries to deceive us about the truth, get us up in our head, get us up in our fear, get us up in our insecurities. That if you want this dream to come into reality, you need to take action more out of fear and insecurity and lust and greed and all those things to make that happen. And your high vibe nature is saying, no, listen to the lessons that you've learned in life, temper your fears and insecurities, keep standing up for yourself and your truth and taking action in truth and love. Because we've already lived life a certain way. We've already been in certain types of jobs and friendships and relationships. We've already learned what type of jobs, friendships, relationships, and traits and characteristics that we don't care for. So if we don't want to repeat that same pattern, we have to keep being inspired to look at life from a higher perspective and keep things in perspective, because otherwise we can kind of, instead of connecting in with our heart and intuition, we can get caught up in our head, and that's us taking action more from our mind than our heart, and pride comes before the fall. So we have to keep life in perspective, temper our more, but I want what I want nature, and keep trusting and believing that, in our truth, keep taking action in truth and love, and believing that that is the way to have our dreams come into reality, and that we want to move forward. We might know some people who are repeating an old pattern. It's like, I don't want to be in relationships with people who are repeating this old pattern. I've already seen the truth of that. I don't like it. And so I want to move forward in life differently. And I can only have that dream come into reality with other people who are willing to detach from that old way of viewing life or living life. So let's go look at the bottom row. The reason for the reading in the bottom row is the woman holding a heart, which is the Queen of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, is how I view it. And that can talk about our emotional attachments we have for people. There's people in our life that we love, between adult children, brothers, sisters, parents, friends, family members, that we can have love for. But how much time do I want to invest? I can see you, I can hang out with you here and there, but if we're really not on the same page, and if I feel that some of those people act kind of immature, are kind of deceptive or manipulative in some ways, how much time do I want to hang out with them, even though I have a deep emotional connection with them? We have the 7th chakra, which is like your higher self, the sun, the community, the strategy, victory, and caring connections. So let's take a look at that. Well, we all want to be in relationships. We'd all like to move forward in relationships. There could be people that romantic interests and otherwise, that we want to have in our life long term, that we'd like to have new beginnings with, that currently could be in our life, people we could be in relationship with. But the way I view this woman holding heart can be because this looks like, to me, it looks like a man dressed up like a lady. And in shadow, that can be someone who's, the masculine cards in tarot whether it can be a male or a female, because we all present ourselves in the world. When we take action in the world, it's considered masculine energy, and people really don't know the truth of how we think and feel. And then the feminine figures can represent how we really think and feel. So this could be a male or a female, but they could be operating more from their egoic nature, which can be, I like to present myself as loving, and in a lot of ways they can be loving, but you could feel that they're not being authentically loving. Really emotionally investing themselves in the relationship, still operating more from their defensive egoic nature. And there could be people that you're intuitive, that you could have this new relationship with, and you could keep moving forward with them in a relationship. But, with this card here also, here we could look at this as someone who operates more from their ego, whether they're male or female, and someone who really does operate more from their more emotionally intuitive nature. And it could be trying to keep us living our life where it's more, maybe the Sun card is Leo energy, which can be more about being in our ego because we want to be in a relationship with someone. The community card is like the 3 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups working together with people. And in a lot of ways, by worldly standards, with the strategy card kind of being like the Ace of Swords, and the victory card like the 6 of Wands, moving forward victoriously. In a lot of ways, by worldly standards, it would look victorious. But would we feel like we'd be in a relationship where in our ego, we're kind of repeating an old pattern and getting in relationships with people, maybe more just to be in a relationship, if it is to be in a romantic relationship, where it's not really something that moves forward, again, that we're kind of repeating some old pattern. Let's ask, with the Ace of Swords, what could this old pattern be representing? The Queen of Wands, the 2 of Cups, and the Tower because of the Five of Pentacles. In high vibe, the Queen of Wands I view as Leo energy, like the sun. We can be in relationships with people, and you could be a more creative, inspired, intuitive, authentic, loving person, but you can get in relationships, is what the Two of Cups can be. You can have people in your life, soulmates, and your soulmates can be anyone in your life that's a significant person in your life to learn lessons from, family members, non-family members. But maybe those people are operating more from their shadow nature in some way, just aren't as authentic or loving or open to love. They still have some of their fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs that they haven't worked through, but they want to move forward with you in a relationship. And it's like, well, I don't know if I want to move forward in a relationship with someone who I feel isn't being authentically emotionally invested, being open, being loving, being encouraging. And then we could know some people who we could feel use their intuition in a shadowy way, that they turn their back on revealing the truth. They want to be in relationships with people, but they want to be in relationships with people where it is kind of more of them living more from their mind than their heart. If you're not being open and honest and authentic in a relationship, you're kind of trying to manipulate people to make them view you as a loving person. But then I want to move forward in a relationship with you, but I kind of want to control you. I want to do the relationship like this. I don't want to, I turn my back emotionally on being more authentic. So it can be sometimes being in relationships with people who you feel are kind of wanting to be in a relationship more for the ego and the image and the status, or just codependency to be in a relationship, but not really loving and encouraging for you to grow to your full potential. Because if you step outside of your comfort zone, they would have to be willing to move forward with you in that way. And high vibe Virgo energy is about being more independent. And there could be people in our life who are still codependent on other people in their life. I'm kind of holding that card over there. You can't see it. There we go. Because the woman holding heart is the reason for this reading also coming out. So we can have people in our life that we would like to be in a relationship with. Say if it's a romantic relationship. They, though, could be kind of codependent on other people in their life that they're not willing to become independent of. Their friend group, or someone in their original family or their original family. And if we're going to create our own life, we have to detach from being codependent. The Five of Pentacles moves away from the Four of Pentacles, which can be where you're like clinging to an old foundation for your sense of stability and security. And sometimes people can get in relationships with people, but you're like the third party to that core foundational relationship. Like if they're more codependent on their original family or their friend group, that is like the long-term relationship they kind of look to be their core foundation. Even if they marry you and have children with you, you're like a third party to that relationship. And then the problem is that if anyone else that is in that core foundation that they align with tells them, like, I don't like these people you're hanging out with, I think you should turn your back on those people and let those people go, because those people live their life differently. They look at life differently. They are more authentic or just or fair or balanced than we are. And everybody likes to view themselves as like, if you've ever known people where they come across as very like loving and nurturing, but they're kind of superficial and shallow. And so they're kind of tipped out of balance, where they're kind of operating from a false mask in a way. And they really, in a more worldly, shadowy Virgo energy, might be more driven and motivated to have a certain status and image and have people view them that way. And that's how they view life, and that's how they live life. And then if one person in that group gets in a relationship with someone who really is more, has worked through some of those things that used to probably manipulate them at one time also, that they are more authentic and loving and just and fair and balanced and inspired by love, well, then people cannot like that because it kind of illuminates that they do kind of use maybe their emotions and their status and their image and all these things in a more manipulative way instead of being more authentic. And then if there is someone who's more authentic in the crowd, the other people don't want them around because, again, it kind of illuminates that they're not that authentic. And if they just get rid of the high vibe people, they feel that solves their problem. Then we can all go back to viewing ourselves as these loving, just, and fair people. We're not about ego and image. We're not about putting on a show or wearing a false mask. We can all hang out together and view ourselves as these just and fair and loving people. And in a lot of ways they are. You could just feel like they have some things that kind of manipulate them, that when you're around them, it makes you kind of feel left out in the cold because it just doesn't seem that authentic and loving and supportive, and it can just feel more superficial and shallow. And so then you don't want to be in it, and it's difficult because you wanted a dream to come into reality with someone in that group, or if it was a workplace. But it's like, I only want to be in relationships with people who are more authentic, not people who are kind of wearing a mask of how loving I am, but you have to do life this way. You have to stay within the box. And some people are like, I can't keep staying in the box. Shadowy energy can be those things that limit us, oppress us, confine us, and imprison us. And it just feels too restrictive. Why can't I live my authentic life? Why can't, because high vibe people would be operating from love, treating other people the way they like to be treated. Why can't I live my life like that? And it's like, well, because we don't live our life like that. And we're not comfortable stepping outside of our comfort zone because we had this idea of what life was supposed to be about, and it could be more like looking like a shining star in the world. And we have these rules and regulations in our head of that means we don't hang out with those people, and we don't wear that, and we don't do this. And, it's all these things to create this illusion about who you are so people view you a certain way. And it's like, I just want to live my authentic life. I want to talk to and enjoy the company of whoever I want to, just because I find them to be encouraging, supportive, authentic, loving people. Are we really on the same page that maybe I'd want to date them or marry them? No, but I don't see any reason why I can't associate with them, talk with them. There's different people in our life that we might like to do different things with, but hopefully maybe more from TV, we know of people that are very like, oh my gosh, you cannot let anybody see you talking with those types of people. Like they are totally outside of our, social strata or something like that. And other people are like, I just want to live my authentic life, and I don't want to try to make people view me a certain way. High vibe energy, I just want to live my authentic life. I want to treat people the way I like to be treated, be loving, being encouraging. And if people like me, they like me. If they don't like me, they don't like me. Some of you could have been in a relationship and someone, again, who you thought would be just and fair, you could have found out was kind of more immature than you realized, maybe a little egotistical or self-centered or self-indulgent. And that could have been really difficult because you wanted them to move forward with you. But because You weren't willing to live a life of illusion and in denial that someone is being kind of immature and deceptive. You stood up for yourself and you listened to your intuition. And because of that, you could feel a little left out of the cold from some people you'd like to be in a relationship with. But if we indulge people in poor behavior, they have no incentive to change. And if you stood up for your truth and are listening to your intuition and moving forward, and they're continuing to do what they do, well, I guess if you were to be in a relationship with them, it is that you would have to enable them in their poor behavior. And it's like, that's not the type of relationship I want to be in. I might want to be in a relationship with them, but I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like someone uses the love that I have for them to try to manipulate me. Love is supposed to be just and fair. People are supposed to treat you the way you treat them. And you saw that some people weren't doing that. Let's go to the end here. What's coming up for people in Virgo energy that they might not see coming? Some people right now could just kind of be realizing that, because in shadowy energy, we can be in relationships with people and we don't want to see the truth because then we would have to speak our truth. So it's kind of like our self-protection of, well, I don't really want to acknowledge it or voice it or whatever because I'm still hoping the relationship will work. And you could be harnessing high vibe Queen of Cups where then you're balanced between your masculine and your feminine. I do want these things in the world, but my loving intuitive nature is telling me something's not right here. And with some people in your life, whoever that is, at a workplace, a friend, a family member. And there could be some people right now that have been moving forward in a relationship. A lot of things about it seemed really good, even if it's a job. And some people just now could be realizing how they kept having hope and faith and belief that things would move forward, and they're starting to see things aren't going to move forward. And some people just now could be speaking their truth, where some of you have already spoken your truth and you've already listened to your intuition and moved on and are moving on. We have the Eight of Cups and the Judgment card, and the reason is because of the King of Wands. So the Eight of Cups is moving away from the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups kind of being an illusion and confusion about people. Hoping someone in the King of Wands would be inspired by the same thing that you're inspired by, male or female, just that in their fiery nature, that they would want to move forward with you in this way, and realizing that some people don't. They could be more caught up in indulging themselves in relationships, willing to indulge other people to have a certain status and image in the world, wanting other people to indulge them because they think they have a certain status or image in the world, or because they're attractive or charming or whatever. And for some people, that's how they view relationships, that whoever seems to have more of something that other people want should kind of be the indulged person. And that's how they could view relationships, that if they think they have more of whatever they think in comparison to you, they think you should indulge them. If you won't indulge them, they will go find someone, and they would kind of be willing to indulge someone if that person had more of the things that they wanted. And love is supposed to be about equal give and take. So it's kind of getting out of this illusion about relationships, which could be more of a shadowy Taurus energy instead of a high vibrational Taurus energy, where it is more transactional. Or neither one of us have gotten balanced within ourselves. Neither one of us have learned to love and believe in ourselves. And, that can be the first several decades of our life, because I think learning to love yourself at a core foundational level, to be like your own best mother, father, coach voice in your head, and stand up for yourself and be the person within yourself who tempers your own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs and offers yourself love and compassion and forgiveness, that can take the first several decades of our life to learn those lessons. And some people haven't learned to do that within themselves, and they are still in codependent energy, looking for other people to love them. So that's where this can be someone operating more from their egoic nature, because they really haven't learned to love themselves. And up here at a core foundational level is the strength card of tempering your more ego nature with truth and love. I've learned to love myself. And if we get in relationships with other people who can be loving and encouraging and supportive, but they haven't learned to love themselves, it is kind of looking to you to be the answer to their problems, instead of them working through their past pain and heartbreak and their fears and their insecurities. And they're not ready to move forward in life differently because they still have some lessons to learn in life about loving themselves, so that the Eight of Cups is going to the Nine of Cups, can be more emotionally independent, learning how to give themselves that cup of love. So two people who are more emotionally independent, who aren't looking to other people and the world to validate their worth and value, have learned how to validate their own worth and value. And in the Judgment card, they hold themselves accountable for their actions. And the King of Wands is Aries energy, which we all tap into. And a more shadowy Aries energy is being more about ourself. And you could have dealt with some people that were more about themselves and think they should be indulged in some way in a relationship. And you're calling judgment on people like that. People have this illusion that people should indulge them in their poor behavior in a relationship. Like, I can be manipulative, I can be bossy, I can be controlling, I can be in a relationship with you, and then I can act in these immature ways that are confusing and kind of deceptive and manipulative and maybe make you feel left out in the cold, and all these things it could be to try to keep you in a relationship with them, indulging them in poor behavior. And it's like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I do know my own worth and value, and I love and believe in myself, harnessing high vibe Aries energy. I'm going to stand up for myself and what I believe in, and I hold myself accountable, and I hold other people accountable. And this is how I am moving forward. And if you want to move forward with me in this way, you have to be just and fair, act with character and integrity, and make good decisions in this relationship. And if you don't, then we're not on the same page. And I am going to go find the people in the world who I think are on the same page. Some of you could have already gotten out of certain jobs, relationships, or friendships. Some of you could have gotten new jobs with the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. You could have gotten remarried. You could have gotten in new friendships, new relationships. And you're moving forward with those people. And there could be, other people that we're not investing much time, energy, and effort into anymore. What's coming up? So you're going to move forward being more independent and being inspired to listen to your truth and stand up for what you believe in, feeling very stable and grounded within yourself. What's coming up for people who, and as you do that, there's going to be other people that are going to want to move forward with you in that way. Because they also have been in relationships with people who acted in these shadowy ways, and they have also seen the truth of it. They don't want to repeat those ways of being in a relationship, and they're going to come with you. What's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Virgo energy that they might not see coming up? The Three of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. Well, when people are kind of acting in some shadowy ways, they're going to have some high vibe people that kind of realize the Six of Cups can be, people are repeating an old pattern. And they're going to have some high vibe people in their life who realize that these people keep repeating an old pattern. And, we're hoping that relationships keep growing and healing and maturing over time. And eventually people see the truth of it. And because of it, the high vibe people reconcile themselves to the fact that I see you keep repeating this old pattern. I wanted to move forward like this in a more emotionally independent, treating each other as independent individuals who have their own unique talent, skills, and interests and dreams. And I want to be with people who encourage people to be in that type of energy. And they realize some of the people in their life aren't at that stage of life yet. And they also, high vibe Six of Cups and Scorpio energy is people want deep, meaningful, authentic, loving relationships where they can let their more vulnerable, authentic nature out to play in the world because they're not afraid of people taking advantage of them. But they've been in relationships with some people who were kind of deceptive and manipulative and immature. And so then shadowy Six of Cups can be people who they could feel are a little more emotionally shallow and superficial and hurtful and unkind, not operating from a loving, nurturing way of being. And so then we feel left out in the cold in those relationships. And so then we offer love to ourselves to get balance within ourselves, to not be out of balance and indulge poor behavior in ourselves and others. And so operating from a foundation, the sixes can represent balance. And because I love myself and I want to be in relationships with people that treat me the way I treat them, and deep, meaningful, authentic relationships, not more superficial and shallow relationships, some of the high vibe people in their life are going to reconcile themselves to this situation and be willing to detach to get the justice they deserve. There can be people in my life, I would like to be in relationships with them, but as long as they are doing things that are kind of hurtful or unkind, I'm no longer in denial of the truth of it, and I might need to stand up for myself and distance myself from some of those people because people have to be held accountable for their actions. And some of the people in the world who never thought some people would maybe be willing to detach from them could be very shocked and surprised that you're not maybe in more codependent energy, that you saw through the illusion or people trying to use the love that you have for them to try to manipulate you or control you, and that you were willing, and other people were willing to stand up for themselves and listen to their intuition and love themselves enough to say, I'm going to distance myself from you. And then I think long term, if some people keep repeating these old patterns, what they don't see coming is they might end up in relationships with people who are like themselves, who could be more about the world. The Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, which high vibe Capricorn energy is freeing yourself from things that manipulate you. But they might end up being in relationships with other people who kind of repeat these old patterns because they're on the same page. And the other people who's like, I've already been in relationships like this. It's just like when you're younger and probably in relationships with people who were kind of immature and impulsive or whatever. It's like when you're in a relationship with someone and then this person does something kind of immature and impulsive that is hurtful and unkind and feels to be deceptive and manipulative. It's like, wait. I've already been in relationships with people who are like that, and I'm kind of not putting up with the bullshit. And, I'm going to speak my truth. And basically, if that's how you want to live your life, you can. But otherwise, you have to be held accountable for your actions. And you need to become independent of that more immature way of being and conduct yourself to a higher standard. Or, you can go find someone else to work here, be your friend, or date. And the high vibe people are going to go find people who they think that they are on the same page with, because they see that they're not on the same page as some other people that have been in their life or currently are in their life. So there you go, Virgo energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.